Yo, so I'm just coming back. I'm going to work right now, but I'm coming out of my interview recently. I just had an interview for a PsyD program. So a while back on my channel, I was talking about wanting to get into a PsyD program, a PhD, and I even have my name tag on here with me. And I applied to a school nearby, and now I'm gonna be. I applied, I went to my interview, it was sick, I enjoyed it. The school is pretty progressive, I feel like, in the sense that it's very open to different approaches. It's not very so closed-minded to so much empirical work. They're really about creating clinicians, training clinicians. So I'm super happy about it. But the reason I'm making this video is because I was in my interview, and while I was there sitting waiting for things to happen, I was just thinking about how I came in and I felt good, and I didn't feel stressed out, and I didn't feel that nervous really. And then the thought came to me, which was, you don't have to make it big. And the thing is that I guess I was comparing myself to who I would have been if I came in before I even knew about everything that I know when it comes to spirituality and just myself, etc. So basically, the idea came from this thing of oh, why am I not nervous, or is it too easy, or am I taking this too easy? And I realized that thought was coming to me because I was really just trying to make things over too complicated. I'm gonna park nearby just so I can finish this video. I was making things too complicated, if it's there, it's there. That's the first point that I want to make, I want to highlight. I know where I'm going. And so often people get nervous about interviews, oh, this is your future, man. This is your whole career. This is where you're going to make your money. This is where you're going to be known as this really important person, or whatever. And for me, none of that was even resonating, right? I was there because I was curious. I was interested. I wanted to see what it was like to go back to school, to be a part of a school and be a part of the system, right? And see how I can contribute to the system. That's really what I was curious about. And in doing that, I just was not even thinking about myself in the sense of how can I prove myself? How can I show who I am? How can I show them that I'm a good candidate? Not even coming to mind. It wasn't even coming to mind. So and then the thing came to me, which was, well, it doesn't have to be that big. This interview doesn't have to be as big as you think it is. It doesn't have to be your whole life. And the reason I say that is because so many people make it big, and it doesn't have to be this interview. It could be anything that you're seeing. Your dreams don't have to be that big. They don't have to feel big. Because I think the moment that they feel big is the moment that you're trying too hard. It's the moment that you feel like you can't do it. You have to work. You have to work for it. You have to, do the work to get there. But if that's the case, if it doesn't have to be that big, and I'm living it myself, this huge thing, I just see it as is. It is what it is, right? Same thing as my marriage. I just knew it was right, and I went with it. And same thing with every single decision that I've made since then, having a kid, etc. So it doesn't have to be that big, and I think it really stuck with me because every morning I'm walking my son. We wake up and we just walk around the neighborhood, and there are times where we see some planes flying by, and he loves seeing the planes. He points at them, and then I say, oh look, it's the plane, it's the avion, and he always gets happy about it, and so I get to share in that joy with him. That, oh, there's a plane, we got to see a plane, and what is that, where are they coming from, who's there, wow, look at the machinery. How is it that we're flying out here as human beings? We're just like birds, and this is coming to me, and I think that's just me tuning into a source, but also to my son's inspiration, my son's joy. And I get to share in that. And now every time I see a plane, I get excited. I'm like, oh, look, my son loves planes. He gets excited about this, and that. And now I get excited. And then I pass that on to the people that I'm talking to. So I think that is so big for me, right? This whole thing about walking in the morning and seeing the plane. And it's big for me and I love it, and I think that for most people that thing is irrelevant. And I think it's good to flip the script and say, okay, I'm going to this interview and I'm already happy because I got to see a plane today. I got to enjoy this day with my son. I got to spend some time with him before I headed out to this interview. And so, yeah, I mean, I think that's the message. It doesn't have to be that big. And I think if anything, that means that a person who's tuned into joy doesn't have to wait for the big thing to happen for them to be able to be happy. They just have to be present. They have to be able to find the bigness in the small of things, the smallest of things. Find the bigness within the smallest of things. And really, it does take time. It does take time because in order to do that, you have to really remove the expectation or the perception that everything that is small is actually not big, and everything that is big is actually small. And this thing isn't even about an absolute truth. This doesn't have to be an absolute truth in the sense that, oh, you can only enjoy life if you only enjoy the little things. No, I don't think that's the case. I'm just presenting a perspective that if you can sit in the middle, in between that, the perspective of the smallest things, of the small things in life are the ones that you remember the most, which I think is kind of cringy if you don't understand this other perspective, which is also the big things are very important. It is a big milestone for me to be here in this situation that I'm in. But I think we have to be able to look at them with equanimity, seeing them as equal and seeing them as something that we value, and we only value them because of something intrinsic. I think it comes from the soul. It comes from something inside, and if we can recognize what that thing inside is that makes us resonate to that frequency of joy, then we will be much more attuned to more of those things. So then, it could be big, small, medium, whatever, but you're always tuned into the music of that thing, and you're moving through life, and you're enjoying, and you're dancing, and that's the thing that I really want to highlight. This ability to tune into life and enjoy all different things, match it all to one. Match it all, match the beauty to the isness, and the isness to the beauty. And and I hope that this video helps you understand that at the end of the day, you're choosing your perception, and it doesn't have to be that big. For a second, maybe live your life, challenge your thinking. All the things that you thought were so big and important, what if you lived for a week flipping it back? What if the most important thing of your day isn't the interview or whatever, it's your meal, it's your first meal, or it's that smile that you get to see from your wife, or it's the air that you breathe, it's the nature that you're living in, it's the car that you're driving, the music that you're playing, it's the songs that are singing all around you. I love that. It's like that's what it is. It's that feeling that you catch when you're tuned into those things, and it's everywhere. All right, and I don't want you to have this idea that it's only when it's the big things that you're allowed to feel this way. It's every single second of your life should feel this way, and it's not even an expectation for me that should. It's like it can feel this way. You don't have to wait for it to be a specific way to feel good. Every single second of your life can feel good, and that's the most important message here. So that's it. There's gonna be much more reflections coming in. I'm feeling good. Want to share more. Life is going well. So I hope that you found that helpful, and I'll see you in the next video. You already know. Stay lucid. Peace.